Hello everyone, this is Krote giving you a shoutcast and game 2 in a series between ATN Socke and DarkForce. Game 2 taking place here on Metalopolis, an overlord now making its way out across this gap. In just a moment we'll quickly be able to find Socke. Socke, the professional player that I know he is, should send a probe off in this direction to try and scout out that overlord, should be able to see that overlord, and then both players will know where each other is right off the bat. So Socke should be setting up a pylon now, and now will he be able to scout out and see that there is an overlord coming in from this direction? It is going to be a little bit delayed. There you go. That he's now warping in. Where is that rally point? So he's rally pointing over and onto that side. DarkForce does quickly see that there is that nexus there, and now trying to fly away. Will he be able to fly away in time is the key question. No, he's not going to be able to, as the probe is going to quickly reveal that overlord right there. And now DarkForce pretty knows that the gig is up, decides not to hug along this edge any longer, and perhaps just going to try to position himself off right here so he can know when an expansion is set up. Back over here, the hatchery now going into an extractor, so DarkForce opting to go for extractor first, followed by spawning pool, and we'll see whether or not Socke scouts this out. In the last game, Socke stayed on the low ground for quite a while and didn't know about that early spawning pool. He just tried to rally into this position here, trying to see if a hatchery would be placed down. It was not placed down. Socke quickly coming in to scout this time, sees the extractor, sees the spawning pool, knows that there are going to be very early metabolic boosted lings, and we'll see how he tries to respond to this. In comes the probe, warping in a cybernetics core as soon as, warping in a pylon. He should go back to mine minerals for a little bit of time, as the gateway not yet done. He will be able to get a cybernetics core in there finally, and then move along his merry way. The probe still wandering around down over here, attempting to deny this expansion attempt with that patrol. You can also see some Zerglings will be trained up, also already at 80 gas, so by the time that this spawning pool is done, we should be in the 92 range. Okay, so a little bit short at 92 range, and now drones will be pulled off the gas one at a time, and now starting to research that metabolic boost. The probe coming up the ramp, taking a look around, seeing what it can see. Zerglings and a queen will pop out in just a moment. That probe needs to run away, otherwise it will get destroyed in mere moments. And there we go, 4 Zerglings already out, 100 minerals worth of food. Zergling's gonna start pecking at that probe. The probe has taken already 20 points of damage. The drone now down over here will grow up to be a hatchery, and that probe down to 15 hit points, gonna slowly get pecked apart because there is more than one Zergling. I believe the probes are going to be able to get damage on it before the shields are naturally able to recharge. Normally, a probe, if it is able to outrun a Zergling, it can naturally have its shields recharge, so it actually regenerates 2 shields between every attack. If the Zergling is trying to chase it down, you need more than one Zergling so that they can kind of hopscotch on each other and try to get more damage. Zergling now perhaps just going to sit here. A sentry is now being warped in as well, chrono boosting that cybernetics core research for that warp gate, as another gateway being warped in. Sentry now is shooting down that Zergling. The Zergling may be able to back off in time. Yeah, there we go. Good control on that Zergling, keeping track of it and deciding to move it away. So one gateway now in play. I do not see any additional, sorry, there's another gateway down over here. So this is going to be a 3 gate, and it may ultimately be, no, it's going to be a 3 gate with a star gate. So technically it is going to be 4 gate, but 3 gate with a star. And now Phoenixes and Void Rays are both within the realm of possibility. I don't see a Roach Warren anywhere nearby, so DarkForce is not going to invest heavily into Roaches, and as spoke too soon, as there we are now getting up a Roach Warren. If DarkForce is not careful and gets too many Roaches and doesn't have enough Queens, that's going to be a problem, whether or not Socke goes for goes for Phoenixes or Void Rays. One Zergling able to back away, able to escape at 2 hit points, probably was sitting at 1 hit point at some point. And now just simply going to hide around that backside, perhaps trying to make it up that ramp. The Zergling just sitting on the far side of that natural expansion location. And now we are getting Void Rays to be trained. So Void Rays now being trained. The sentries looking to see if they can find an overlord inside the base. They want to try to shoot it down. One poor Zergling, unable to get up that ramp, as there were 2 sentries there to shoot it down just in time. Hatchery at the low ground already has about 8 drones currently mining, 7 drones. currently mining income-wise 29 harvesters for Socke, 26 for DarkForce, but DarkForce having a little bit of a lead as he is mining for more mineral patches and also harvesting less gas. Void Ray now on the move, going to hunt some overlords. One overlord now already shot down. A second overlord may get shot down as well. Overlord trying to fly away. It looks like it's already taking damage, 10 damage per attack. And now just going to fall even faster. Down it goes, and now the Void Rays can back off. DarkForce is now currently down 200 minerals, and now desperately needs to rebuild his overlords in order to at least not become supply locked. One overlord now in the air, now going after those Zerglings, but there is now a large number of Zerglings moving out, and the overlord needs to be very careful. There are a decent number of sentries, and now there is also one phoenix as well, so in come the force fields. One more force field needs to be placed down. There you go. Guardian shield not going to be able to protect all too much. Sentries now getting shut down, as well as the Void Ray is now in the air trying to deal some additional damage towards those roaches. The roaches are now going to get picked apart. Zealots need to be very, very careful, but the roaches are going to get slowly destroyed as that one Void Ray, already up to 6 kills, going to be able to rack up even more and more damage very easily. Stalkers are going to get shut down though, but now the roaches looking to see how much more damage they can do. It doesn't look like it's going to be very much. In comes one force field. The sentry needs to back off down to 33 hit points, 18 hit points. But the Void Ray, acting as the main DPS in that particular instance, able to destroy the roach before the sentry took 2 more hits. In comes the one Void Ray in the air, and now looking to deal even more damage against those Zerglings. Zerglings now running away desperately, trying to perhaps put a lot of pressure and prevent Socke from moving out. Socke does not have the ground army in order to deal damage, and now this Nexus may fall. This is going to be a problem as the sentries and zealots try to move out. The Zerglings taking a lot of damage. The zealots now trying to deal more and try to push back against these Zerglings, and now a second Void Ray is in the air. So double Void Rays in the air, so Socke heavily investing into them, and at some point, yeah, the Robotics Bay eventually into Colossus, and I believe that Socke will add Colossus to this group. Void Ray, Stalker, Colossus, Sentry, very, very difficult to take down, especially with Zealots acting as meat shields, and now the Void Rays just trying to macro up and get even more damage into this battle. We should probably get some additional simulators, perhaps even a pylon here, in order to prevent any serious run-bys. The Void Rays still moving across the map looking for additional targets, are not going to find any, and the Void Rays are going to have a very difficult time now trying to put any pressure on the bases, as we are now getting 4 Hydralisks. Hydralisks obviously deal a large amount of damage, and because they are light units, take significantly less damage against from the Void Ray's prismatic beam. And now in comes an Overlord. Overlord may get shot down, but the Hydralisks are going to try to come in, try to shoot down that one Void Ray. The Void Ray, unable to get that final shot in there. 9 hit points or 10 hit points onto that Overlord. Void Ray now pulling away. This Void Ray may actually take some critical damage, down to 112 hit points before that Queen is out of range. Void Rays still being trained up more. We are getting a robotics space, so we should be getting a robotics. The robotics facility should be training up Colossus in just a moment. Needs to get more pylons in order to not become supply locked. He would be supply locked and not be able to train up any Colossus. So there are those additional pylons now, just in time, as that robotics bay will be completed in just a moment. The Void Rays with one Phoenix looking to deal more damage, looking to see where it can deal damage, as this hatchery at the 5 o'clock location has been completed. So DarkForce will be running off of 3 bases momentarily. He just needs to start spawning larvae and start transferring drones into that location. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of Hydralisks. Hydralisks are not upgraded, no weapons upgrade, and no range upgrade. So they're going to have a very difficult time trying to go toe-to-toe with Void Rays, as they are going to be outranged. Stalkers and Sentries moving out into this location. Down goes another Zergling there, as the Sentries and Zealots are just wandering around on the inside of the map. No weapons upgrade either, so Socke opting to not get weapons upgrade, and that is a little confusing at that time. And as I say that, the Forge is currently upgrading level 1 weapons upgrade for those Colossus, Stalkers, and Zealots. That will help out tremendously against the ground army of DarkForce. 12 drones now being trained up by DarkForce, so DarkForce once again will be power droning a lot of Overlords down in this position as well. So DarkForce no longer supply locked. A lot of drones just continuing to mine away. Also getting the ventral sack upgrades. Already DarkForce's units have the movement speed upgrades on those overlords. So a fast drop is possible if they decide and try to do it. You can see that the Stalkers and Colossus are here army-wise 2725 with a 1425 gas army versus 2375 with 875. The Colossus are beginning to move out. We are getting more Warp Prisms. Warp Prisms should be moving out as well. And sorry, not Warp Prisms. I thought I saw a Warp Prism for a second. I'm wishful thinking. Void Rays. So Stalkers and Observers making their way out. Roach is trying to get some damage, and in come the Force Field. So the Force Field is preventing any of those units, and now Colossus trying to get some additional damage. And those Colossus are going to be able to finish off many of those Roaches. Roach is now trying to run away. That one Roach over here should just get destroyed in just a moment. The Colossus are now on that high ground, and with 2 Colossi out, and now also 3 Void Rays, this is going to become a very difficult army for DarkForce to stop. Even if he gets Corruptors, the Void Rays, which deal additional damage against armored and massive units, and will be able to deal a lot of damage towards those Corruptors. Corruptors do move significantly faster though, but they're not going to be focusing on to those Colossus, and the Colossus will be able to just clean up many of the ground army, utilizing their extended thermal lance range splash damage. 4th base now coming in from DarkForce at the 6 o'clock expansion. Level 1 missile upgrades and level 1 carapace upgrades as well for the ground army. So Roaches and Hydralisks will be able to deal more damage. Roaches, Hydralisks, and Zerglings, along with any other ground force, will be able to absorb a little bit more as well. As wow, DarkForce continuing to macro up now, and DarkForce is now going to take the lead in terms of the mineral army, and now the Overlord drop already underway, and this is going to be a problem. This is going to be very, very difficult. There are Void Rays, but this is a very, very narrow choke point to try to move through, and many of those Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries will have to come in a single file line as the Overlords are now starting to drop into the main base here. So the Overlords are going to start to drop here, dropping just multiple units, continuing to drop Roaches and Hydralisks. The Overlords perhaps should start trying to get some creep down as the Roaches now move out. The Hydralisks are getting some damage in, but so many Void Rays. The Void Rays are in the air. There are so many Overlords. The Overlords should be able to pick up all of these units once again, and both sides battling it out. And this army of DarkForce just simply getting torn apart. Not quite sure what DarkForce was expecting to do. He needed to perhaps split up his army and try to deal more damage. Perhaps try to hit this expansion location here, but Socke has walled this off as well. And wow, DarkForce severely behind now. 2,000 mineral army, no, not even quite 2,000 mineral army versus a 4,000 mineral army. 8 Corruptors now being trained as this Phoenix is just sitting here getting a lot of kills on Overlords, or just continuing to rack up that damage. It does deal, what, 10 damage per attack. And now trying to pull away. There are, a couple of Void Rays in along with this group as well. And Socke with Phoenixes, Stalkers, and Colossus. And I believe there are 4 Colossus there. Yeah, very difficult to see this ball here. Void Rays and Colossus can stack up so easily together, but there are now a lot of Zerglings running in over here, getting a lot of damage. Probes now trying to pull back, but Zerglings were able to sneak through and then get some damage into this location. Multiple Zerglings trying to fight back against the Probe. The Probes have one out, and now the Stalkers coming out to finish off the rest of the job here. The Colossus could simply just attack move, but they are not right now, as this expansion has been taken down by mass Lings. So mass Zerglings coming in from DarkForce, able to shut down this Nexus, and now we see that Socke is running off of 2 bases, or essentially now just 1.5, and his economy is really weak now, only down to 1,300 minerals, as now a counterforce coming in. Roaches coming in, Corruptors in the air, Roaches trying to get more damage, Stalkers now trying to come in as well. The Corruptors and Roaches, some of those Queens now joining in on the fight as well, so the Queens joining in and trying to get perhaps some transfusion, and now this is an all-in attack from DarkForce. The Queens are not very, very powerful as a counterattack, and now Socke, just who had such a large army still being queued up, may be able to take this one and take this game back, and this Nexus will be completed, and then we'll be able to run off of 2 base plays. Drones now trying to run away, but those Stalkers are going to be able to finish off those drones very, very easily. Zerglings now trying to be masked up. One upgraded Hydralisk, but there are too many Void Rays, I believe. Corruptors just rallying straight into that army, getting taken down. Roach is now trying to battle it out, but still this large attacking group of mechanical units from Protoss, difficult to stop. And there's the GG. So I thought DarkForce did a great job shutting down Zocke's expansion, and because of that, Zocke realized he needed to attack. He had the superior army, and by pressing out to attack, he needed to try to just build up a larger army and make sure that he could win the war of attrition. Zocke tried to use his queens and roaches and all of his units combined to try to fend off that attack, but a lot of the roaches in this battle were not fighting. It was almost like his army was naturally split into two, and because of that, he was unable to seriously get enough damage off. Seriously able to slow down Zocke's army enough and try to re-macro and get back into this game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Zocke and DarkForce.